John Ireland was born on September 11th, 1838, to parents Richard and Judith Naughton Ireland in Burnchurch, Ireland. At the age of 12, Ireland emigrated to the United States, migrating first to Chicago, along with the Western Migration, and then to St. Paul, Minnesota, in 1852. After living in St. Paul for only a year, Ireland went to the College of Mamou in the Diocese of Belley, France, for a classical education. In 1857, Ireland entered the seminary in Montbel, France, and graduated 4 years later in 1861. That same year, Ireland returned to St. Paul to join the army as Catholic chaplain. Ireland was a born leader. In 1875, he began to minister in St. Paul and was consecrated coadjutor bishop of the diocese. 13 years later, Ireland became the first Roman Catholic archbishop of St. Paul in 1888. During Ireland's service as archbishop, he established his opinion on the Church's place in the New Age. Ireland was a Central American Catholic speaker in the Americanist movement. The Americanist movement sought for harmony between the Church and the optimistic Gilded Age. Ireland's gift for articulation made him the perfect spokesman for the need for Americanization in response to the Roman sojourn. Ireland addressed the need for Americanization through not only powerful speaking, but action. One issue in the sojourn, immigration, was addressed through Ireland's social work. Ireland, along with John Spalding, founded the Irish Catholic Colonization Association. The Irish Catholic Colonization Association provided relief to Irish Catholic immigrants who faced social and economic hardship. A second issue in the sojourn, the establishment of a Catholic university, was also addressed through John Ireland's action. In 1889, Ireland helped to establish the Catholic University of America, in spite of much anti-Americanist opposition. Perhaps the most significant course of action Ireland took towards promoting his belief was speaking at the Third Plenary Council of Baltimore in 1884. Ireland's address sought to encourage Catholics to reach a mutual understanding between the Catholic Church and its relationship with the pluralistic democratic society of the United States. Ireland's approach to Americanization was not well received by anti-Americanists. Ireland's opposers saw him as the potential head of a schismatic church. The opposers believed that the church would become democratic in structure and reductionist in theology. One thing that may have prompted opposers' belief is Ireland's work entitled The Church and the Modern Society. The Church and the Modern Society was written in 1896 and essentially outlined Ireland's view of the New Age. In the book, Ireland criticizes the Church for being too slow to understand the New Age and stresses the need for harmony between the Church and the evolution of the American government. In 1899, years after both his address and the publishing of The Church and Modern Society, Pope Leo VIII released an encyclical titled Testem Benevolente. Testem Benevolente condemned the heresy of Americanism and eventually led to a loss of credibility for John Ireland. Since John Ireland's speaking was no longer effective, he decided to focus his attention on building the institutions of his own diocese. Ireland went on to build or help build St. Catherine's College in 1905 and the Cathedral of St. Paul and Basilica of St. Mary in 1915. Ireland died 3 years later in September of 1918.